We do want to get to that breaking news we've been following in Fairfax County, Virginia. Sadly, we're learning a teen has died after being shot on Carpet Mine Road in Herndon.
Yeah, let's listen to police giving an update now.
Responded to a shots fired call. Units responded in a few minutes, and what we found was there was a dispute amongst some young people who knew each other. There was 3 people involved, 2 victims, and the suspect were involved in a physical altercation. At some point, they separated physically. The suspect pulled a firearm and shot at least 3 rounds. We don't know how many struck the victim who is deceased, and there was another victim who was also a teenager who was shot at and not struck. So right now, as you can see, we've deployed a lot of resources. We're searching for who we believe the suspect to be at this time, and have a lot of resources in the area. You may see in other places as well. At one point, we did have information that the suspect may have fled towards an elementary school, Coates Elementary School, is that correct? Coates Elementary School. Because of that, out of abundance of caution, the school went in to secure the building to make sure that any students weren't being released in an area where we were searching. At this point, we're working with the schools to ensure that the secure the building's lifted and students are reunited with their parents.
Safe to say that you believe you know who the suspect is?
We do believe we know who the suspect is at this time.
How do you know who he is? Is he a...
We believe that the parties were known to each other, so we don't believe this to be a random act of any kind. We believe that all the parties are known to each other, and with another victim involved who wasn't struck, we hope to get more information. As you can see, we have a lot of units here, a lot of detectives, crime scene units here who will be collecting evidence for several hours, I'm sure.
We see the size of the police presence. We've seen some heavily armed officers. Can you just explain why this type of response and what you're doing in the search?
Absolutely. First of all, we have a teenager who's dead and shouldn't be, and I can't imagine anything more devastating for that kid's family. So we take this very, very seriously, and obviously, with the suspect we know was armed with a firearm. So because of that, yes, we're going to have heavily armed officers that are searching for that suspect, who we believe it could be dangerous to them if encountered.
The suspect, is that also a teenager as well?
We believe so.
And the victim who passed away, how old are they?
Not confirmed, but I know he's a teenager.
Can you give us a description of the suspect you're searching for?
I don't believe that we're going to give that information at this point. We have units that we want to make sure that can do their due diligence in making sure that they can try to track down that suspect without any interference.
Do you know the dispute was over?
I don't.
What is your message to this community right now who are probably a little shaken up by this?
Absolutely. My message to the community is these parties are known to each other. We don't believe this to be a random act. We're doing everything we can to get the suspect in custody. We'll be collecting all the evidence that we can to make sure that we can bring this case to justice. And like I said, with the school, we made sure that we made sure that those students were not put in any danger. So I would tell the community that they can rest assured that we will continue to be out in this area and make sure that we do everything we can until the suspect's in custody.
Can you walk us through what's next as far as dismissal with the school? Is it still on lockdown, or are students now being allowed to go?
No, I believe we're in the process with the school of making sure the students are released.
This group of teenagers, were they all coming from school? Was school being let out, or is that how you believe they know each other?
We hope to find that out in the coming hours as information develops in the case.
You mentioned there were 3 people involved in the dispute. The one suspect you're looking for, the one teenager who's deceased. Where is the 3rd person right now, and what was their involvement?
The 3rd person right now is considered to be a victim, as he was shot at as well, and our detectives are working with them.
And does that person have any injuries?
Not to my knowledge. Any other questions?
Just before we let you go, can you just explain what this effect is on you? I mean, you mentioned a teenager should not be dead.
Absolutely. I'm a parent myself. My child is an adult now, and I can't imagine what any parent would be thinking or feeling, expecting their child to come home for dinner and doesn't make it. So I think anybody who's a parent can relate to the fact that would be devastating, and obviously our thoughts definitely go out to them.
Thank you.
All right. right, we were listening to a press conference, another tragic shooting involving young people. Apparently 3 young people got into some sort of fight. One of them pulls away, shoots at one of the teens and kills them. And we were just hearing Brooke Wright from Fairfax County Police talking about how a teen is dead and shouldn't be.
Yeah, and then shot at another teen, but missed, according to Brooke Wright there. But the good news based on this press conference here is Brooke Wright says they do know who the suspect is. They believe they know who that person is. A search is underway right now. They had no description of that person as of yet because they obviously want their investigators to have a first hand at finding that person. But our Katie Lesso, she was asking questions there on scene. She's going to have a full wrap up for us as well coming up in just a few minutes on the news at 6.
We'll be right back.